Hello students, how are you? Hi, I hope you all are very good. So today I'm going to explain about the 7th standard history chapter 1. So that is sources of history. Okay. So before going to start this chapter, first we have to know what is meant by history. History means what? What are the things or what are the events happen in past, so that we call as history. That means what we are discussing about past events, so that we call as a history. That means suppose you are now we are talking about your birthday. So when your birthday completed, suppose your birthday was celebrated last month. Okay, so last month February, last month 20th you completed your birthday, you celebrated your birthday. Okay, so that means what? That is a history. It's already completed. Then also now we are talking about that. So that means what? That is a history. Whatever it is, when you are discussing about the past events, that we call as a history. Okay, so when you are you want to talk about history, so you need some proofs. Okay, so suppose anyone want how you celebrate your birthday in last month the 20th, so show me proof. Okay, so if anyone asks like that to you now, so then you have to show your photos. That means what? That is a proof. So photos are how it is a material sources. So photos you are taking in mobile, so mobile is a one material, so that is what? Material sources. So like that, so for showing or for you want to say about any historical event or any historical place, you need some proofs. So that proofs we call as a sources. What is that? That proofs we call as a sources. So here sources of history are three types. That is the material sources, written sources, and oral sources. Okay, so these all things we are going to explain in this chapter, and now we will start this chapter. So we studied ancient Indian history last year. This year we are going to study the medieval period of Indian history. Okay, so last year, that means in 6th standard, we already studied about the ancient history. Ancient history means what? Puranas time, Itihasas time, sorry, Stone Age time. So that type of history about Stone Age period, about about Harappan civilization, about Indus civilization or Mohenjo-daro civilization. Okay, so that type of history we call as the ancient history. But now in this 7th standard, we are going to discuss about the what is the medieval period of history. So in this history, that means 7th standard history, we are going to discuss about medieval period of history. Medieval means middle. Okay, between the modern history and ancient history, what are the period we have? So that period we call as a medieval period. So example is Shivaji Maharaj time. So what is the Shivaji Maharaj time is there? So that period we call as a medieval period. Okay, so broadly the period from 9th century till the end of the 8th century CE is considered to be medieval period of Indian history. Okay, so which period is the medieval history? 9th century to end of the 18th century. So 9th century to end of the 18th century. That means nearly 8 plus 2, so 11 years, so 11 centuries. Okay, century means how many years? 100 years. 11 into 100, how many? 1100 years. Okay, so 1100 years. So 9th century to 18th century, that is 1100 years we call as a medieval period. Okay, here CE means what? Common era. The meaning of CE means what? Common era. Common era, or it is also called as a Christian era. So already you know about common era and Christian era. Sir. What are the period before Jesus? So that period we call as a common era or Christian era. Okay, so next one, in this lesson we are going to study the sources of medieval history. So in this chapter we are going to discuss about the what are the sources of medieval history. You want to know about the medieval period, what type of proofs you have? So that sources we call as a sources of medieval history. Okay, so here history gives us a chronological, scientific, and systematic account of past events. So history is not a random. Random means what? It's not a in order. It is history should be in a chronological order. Chronological means continuous. Okay, so suppose you are uh, we are talking about independence period. Okay, how we got the independence. So first Mahatma Gandhi ji started the non-violence movement. So then he started the non-cooperation movement, then quit India movement. Okay, so like that he started the so many movements, but one movement is related with the another movement, that too in a particular order. Chronological order means what? Suppose numbers is there, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So these are what? Order in a continuous order, so that we call as a chronological. Continuous means what? Chronological. Okay, history should be in a chronological order only. Okay, so that means what? Year wise we are discussing. Okay, here four factors are very important for the viewpoint of history. So if you want to know about any particular event, okay, so you need some factors. So what are that factors? First one is the individuals. Individuals means what? Suppose you want to know history about Mahatma Gandhi, so you want to know about only Mahatma Gandhi, so that is individual. Particular person you want to know about history, so that is individual. Or you want to know about Shivaji Maharaj, or you want to know about Nehru. Okay, so that individual means particular person. Okay, society, so where it was happen. Okay, so where, in which country that history was happen. Okay, place, in which state, in each area, which continent, which country, which state it that historical event was happened. So that is important. Next one is time. Okay, so in which period it was happen, in ancient period, or it was happen in medieval period, or it is happen in a modern period. So time is very important, in which year, which date it was happen. So these are the four important factors when you want to know about the history. So you should need these four factors, that is the individuals, society, place, and time. Okay, so history must be based on the authentic evidence or proof. So when you are knowing about any history, so you should take a evidences, you should take a proofs. Okay, without proof you can't believe that is the truth. Okay, suppose anyone telling story about Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, so your grandparents saying story about Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, so you don't know that is a right or wrong. So for that, what you have to do? What are the books available in library about Shivaji Maharaj? You have to take that books and you have to read. So you have to compare what your grandparents are telling about Shivaji Maharaj, and what information having in that books. Okay, so if it is your grandparents are saying same story, what are the story in that book? Okay, so if they are explaining same story, then it is true, otherwise it's not a true. So that means what? When you are reading any history, or want to know about any history, okay, so you need some proofs. So that proofs we call as the sources of history. Okay, next one, let us classify these sources into material sources, written sources, and oral sources. To learn more about them, let us also evaluate the sources of history. Okay, so for that purpose we are divided sources into three types. So that is the material sources, written sources, and the oral sources. So now we are going to discuss about what is meant by material sources, what is meant by written sources, what is meant by oral sources. So see here, we have to consider many factors related to historical event that we want to study. It is necessary to support our study with historical sources. These sources have to be verified. We have to see whether they are authentic. It is necessary to use these sources judicially and only after a critical analysis. Okay, suppose you want to go, you got any coin. Okay, that coin is belongs to the independent period. Okay, so that coin is very old coin. So in a any place, you went to any historical place, in that historical place you got one coin. Okay, so when you got that coin, you have to observe very clearly that coin. Okay, so on that now we have the 1 rupee coins, 5 rupees coins, 10 rupees coin. On that coins we have some language also, like 10 rupees. So 10 rupees are written on English language as well as Hindi also, and number also they are written. As well as one side we have the uh, Sachameva Jayati symbol. Okay, and another side we have the 10 rupees number. Okay, so like that, what say in the ancient period also, what are the coins they were used? Some coins are belongs to gold, some coins are made with copper, some coins are made with silver. So when you got that coin, so you have to observe which material they were used. This is a gold coin, or this is a silver coin, or this is a copper coin. So first you have to identify that metal. After that, which language they wrote on that coin, so you have to observe that language. And which numbers, which type of numbers they were written on that coin, we have to observe that. Which type of pictures having in that, okay, you have to observe that. So if you know that information, suppose in that coin you have the Shivaji Maharaj picture, so easily we can understand this coin is belongs to Shivaji Maharaj time period. If in that coin you have the Akbar picture, okay, you don't know who is Akbar, who is Akbar. Okay, so that time what we have to do, you have to take that coin and search on internet or related books you have, so you have to read that books, then you can get the information. Okay, so that means what you got any historical things, so you have to do the critical analysis. Critical analysis means examination, observation. You should observe very clearly when you got any material, then only you can get the more information about that particular coins or particular event. Okay, next one is forts have important place among material sources. Some major types of forts are hill forts, forest forts, sea forts, and forts on the plains. Okay, so main sources of history is forts also. Forts means already we know Devgari fort is there. Okay, so fort means what? Maximum forts are built highest region only on the mountains only they build the forts. Why? Because so for the protection of their state they build the forts on the mountains. So when we are on the mountain, so we can observe all the area, what are the state area or what are the place around to you, so you can easily understand, we can easily observe that place. So that's why soldiers are standard in that fort, and they are observing what things are happening surround their country or surrounding their state. Okay, suppose the enemies are enemy countries are they want to attack, so the our country people also, our country soldiers also ready to attack. Okay, so for the security purposes the forts are built on the mountain regions only. Okay, here forts also different types. Some forts are built in near to the hills, and forts are near in forest areas. Some forts are in sea forts near to the sea. Some forts are in plain regions. So these are the different type of forts. So when you are observing these forts, we can get the information also. And one more thing, forts are not only for the security purpose, for the food grains also. They are storing food grains also in that fort, and some weapons also. What are the weapons used by the soldiers, so that weapons also stored in that forts. Okay, so for that purpose forts are used. And here monuments include samadhis, graves, viragala, and the building included palaces, ministerial mansions, queen's quarters, ranivasa, and also houses of common people. Okay, so not only forts, some other material things also having for getting the knowledge about history. So that is the samadhis. Okay, so samadhis means already you know, if anyone died, so we buried that people in that place, and we build a one samadhi, so that we call as samadhis. Graves means what? Where food grains they were stored, so that place we call as a graves. Viragala means what? See here, I'll show the picture. So this picture, this we call as a viragala. Viragala means on the stones they drawn the pictures, or they curve the pictures, or they wrote some information, that we call as a virgala. Okay, and some building include places, some historical places also, like Taj Mahal, or Ellora caves, or Ajanta caves. So these all are what? Historical sources. Not only that one, ministerial mansions also, queen's quarters also, that means the Raj Darbar. Okay, Ranivasas only for queen. Okay, Raj Darbar means king's conducting meeting na, so that place we call as a Raj Darbar. So these all things are, when we are observing these all places, we can get easily what about what the history about that particular place we can easily understand. Okay, next one, they see here they are given the material sources. So this is the physical sources. Physical sources are also called as a material sources. That means we can touch, suppose coin, so we can touch also, we can take also, we can take with our hand also. So that means what? Physical means physically we can touch, physically we can feel. So that type of materials we call as a physical sources or material sources. Say memorials means suppose anyone died, so because of that person we build a statue. Okay, statues, so like Nehru statue, Mahatma Gandhi statue. So that buildings also, already I told you, Raj Darbar, Rani Darbars, like that. Cave sculptures means Ajanta caves, Ellora caves. That inscriptions means what? On the stone they wrote some information about that king or that particular period, so that we call as a inscription. Coins means so what are the coins they were used in that particular period, so that we call as a coins, currency, money. Okay, copper plates means so in the ancient period people are don't have the notebooks, they don't have the notebooks, as well as they don't have the pen pencil, like that. So for that purpose what they did, they took one copper plate, on that they wrote the information, so that we call as a copper plates. Forts, already I explained about the forts. So these all are called what? Material sources. Okay, so next one, all they all provide insights about the period. Looking at them, we come to know about the development of architecture, the economic condition, the quality of style of building, construction, and people stand of living in that particular period. So when we are observing these all things, okay, so when you went to the any cave or you went to the any historical places, so when you are observing that pictures in that historical places, we can easily understand which type of tradition they were used, which type of dressing sense they were used, which type of food grains they were used, which type of vessels they were used. Okay, so which type of houses architecture they were used for constructing the buildings. Okay, which type of currency they were used. So these all things we can understand very easily when we are going to see any historical place or any historical things. Okay. Okay, so can you tell how do coins narrate history? That means when you are when you got any coin, so how that coin give information about history. Okay, so already I told you, when you got the coin, so you have to observe what type of pictures on there, and which language they were used, which in which year that coin was made, and which material they were used. So these all information we can get when we are observing the coin. Okay, next one, let us learn. Since ancient times, coins like kavadi, damidi, dhela, pai, paisa, anna, and rupee were used. Okay, so now we are using a 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 5 rupee, 10 rupees, 100, 200, okay, 500. 1,000, 2,000 rupees notes now 5,000, 500 and 1,000 no, 1,000 notes are not available. 2,000 note is available. Okay, so how we are using like that in a medieval period? So they are using the this type of currency like anna, paisa, pi, damidi. So these type of currency they were used. Okay, on that coins they wrote some proverbs also. Okay, what is that proverbs? See here they are given the examples also. Proverbs means already you know. You all are writing on board now every day. Education is divine. Education is a divine. Sorry, knowledge is a divine. Okay, uh, friend is deed. When a friend is need in that type of slogans you are writing on board now, so that I will call as a proverb. So these proverbs also they are write on coins. So examples here, ek putki kabadi denar nahi. That means what is the meaning of this here? Putki kavadi means lowest bit of money. So putki kavadi means it is the very lowest bit of money. Suppose in our currency now, what are the coins we are using? What is the lowest coin? 1 rupee coin. Okay, so 10 rupees to 1 rupee coin is the lowest coin. So like that, here also pukadi kavadi means what? Lowest bit of money. Okay, next one, sola hi ana sacha. Sola hi ana sacha. Okay, means 100% true. So what are the coin you having in that what is the meaning of this sentence on that coin? So this note or this coin is 100% true. Okay, so this currency is true, so that is the meaning. Next one, the coins the coins made by different rulers using metals like gold, silver, copper are important sources of history. So that when medieval period is over, that kings are made these coins with the gold, silver as well as copper. So these are also historical sources. Okay, from these coins we learn about the rulers, their so from these coins, we learn about the rulers, their period, governance, religious ideas. Okay, so when you got this type of coins, we can understand on the picture which king picture is there. So we can understand. So this coin, when this coin is printed, so that time this state was ruled by this king. So we can understand. And on that date is then a year 1972 or 2020. So based on that date, we can understand which year it was made. Okay, so that also we can understand. So based on the pictures also, suppose in that coin Sita Rama picture is there. Okay, so we can understand. So this king is belongs to Hindu. Okay, Hindu religion. Suppose in that a Muslim symbol is there, so 786 and moon symbol is there, so we can understand. So these coins are belongs to Muslims period or Muslim religions. So we can understand that religious ideas also. Okay, personal details, etc. Similarly, we also learn about the financial transaction and economic conditions prevailing at that time. We also see how far metallurgy got advanced in that period. Okay, so we can understand which type of metals they were used in that particular period. That also we can understand. From the images of Rama Sita on the coins of Empire Akbar or Shiva Parvati on the coins of Hyder Ali, we see the religious coordination of those days. Okay, so when Akbar was a king, okay, so that time Rama, what are the coins made by Akbar? So the on that coins, what pictures are there? Rama and Sita picture is there. But Akbar is what Akbar is not a Hindu religion, but then also he gave respect to the Hindu religion, and he worshipped the Hindu religion gods also, like Rama and Sita. Okay, so like that. And not only that one, Hyder Ali. When Hyder Ali time, he printed the some coins also. So that coin, on that coins he printed the Shiva Parvati picture. Hyder Ali also not a, he is a Mughal. Okay, he is not a Hindu religion, he is a Mughal. Then also he gave respect to the other religion, and he also worshipped the Shiva Parvati also. Okay, so that means what, so these type of pictures when we are seeing, we can understand. So at that period, in the medieval period, how that kings are also giving respect to the all religion people. So that information we can understand seeing this type of coins. Okay, the Peshwas used the Arabic or Persian languages on their coins. This threw light on the use of languages in that period. So when Peshwa period is there, so that in that particular period, on that coins they are used the Arabic language as well as Persian language. Okay, so when we are seeing this type of language, we can understand. Okay, so Peshwas period they used the two languages, that is the Arabic language as well as Persian language. Okay, next one is an inscription is a carving on a stone or wall, etc. For example, the inscription found in the Brihadishwara temple premises in Tanjavur, many inscriptions of the period of Chalukya. Okay, see here. So inscription means what? What are the information they curved on the stone, so or wall, they curved on the stone or they curved on the wall, so that we call as a inscription. That means curve means what, they are using the hammer and some molds, they are curving the letters on that wall, so that we call as a inscriptions. Okay, here they are giving the example also. So Brihadeshwara temple is there na, in Tanjavur. So on that Tanjavur, one inscription is founded. Okay, that means what, one on wall they wrote some information, they curve some information. Okay, so what is that, see here, many inscriptions of the period of Chalukya, many inscriptions of period of Chalukya, Rashtrakuta, Chola, Yadava kings have been founded. Okay, so so many people, so many kings rule our country na, like Rashtrakuta, Chola, Yadavas, Chalukyas, Mauryas, Maurya empires, Shatavahana. So these all are what, uh, kings. Okay, kings dynasty names. Okay, dynasty means what? Suppose how we have the initial, okay, surname, so like that they also having the surnames, that is a Chola, Yadava, Rashtrakuta, so that are the their surnames. Okay, using that surnames, they are calling that kingdom or dynasty. Okay, next one, in an inscription is considered to be very important and reliable sources of history. Okay, so when Chola, Yadavas, Rashtrakutas, Chalukyas, Shatavahanas, so when these dynasty people were there, so at that time uh, they carved the some inscriptions also. So when we are reading that inscriptions, so we can understand the history about that particular period, kings and their ruling. It helps us to understand the features like language, script, social life of period. Inscriptions carved on the sheets of copper are known as copper plates. Royal edicts, verdicts, etc. are inscribed on copper plates. Okay, so here so with the help of inscriptions we can understand which type of language they were used, which type of script they were used, what are the social life, what is the social condition in that particular period, we can understand. So at that time so many so much of information they wrote on copper plates only. Okay, and royal edicts means what are the rules given by the king, so that we call as a royal edicts. And vedas also. So these all things are they are preserved in the form of copper plates. Okay, next one. Do you know Chetas, viharas, temples, churches, mosques, agaris, dargahs, mukbaras, gurudwaras, monuments, sculptures, wells, minarets, village boundaries and gates, weapons, utensils, ornaments, clothes, decorative articles, toys, implements, musical instruments, all are material sources of history. Okay, so here what they are given, these all are what material sources, like temples also, masjid also, churches also, walls also, wells also, village buildings also, gates also, weapons also, clothes also, ornaments also. Ornaments means jewelries. Utensils means vessels. What are the things they were used for cooking purpose? That. Okay, decorated items also, toys also, music instruments also. So these all are what material sources. So when we are got any historical materials, okay, so we can get more information. So that type of sources we call as a material sources. Okay, next one is written sources. We learn about significant historical events in the medieval period from sources like the writing styles of scripts like Devanagari, Arabic, Persian, Modi, etc. Okay, so written sources means what are the historical information they wrote on a book, or they wrote on any copper plate, or they wrote on a wall. That means it is in writing form only, not in a material, it is in writing form only, that we call as a written sources. Okay, so here in the medieval period they used some type of languages. So at that time there is no English. Okay, sorry, there is no English as well as there is no Hindi. So which type of language, which type of scripts they were used? Devagari, Arabic, Persian and Modi scripts they were used. As also from the varieties of different languages, Bhojapatras, religious manuscripts, treatises, edicts, decreases, biographies, paintings, etc. Okay, so what are the examples of written sources? Bhojapatras. Bhojapatras means what? The Burja is one of the tree. Okay, so this tree is available in Kashmir region only, Himalayas region only. This tree is available. So they are using that tree's root, or not root. So they are using that tree's leaf. On that leaf, they wrote the information. So that we call as a Bhuja Patras. Patra means leaf. Okay, Bhuja Patras. And religious manuscripts. So what are the holy books or there for every religion? Like Hindus are having the Bhagavad Gita, Christians are having the Bible, and Muslims having the Quran. Like that, what are the books, Vedas related to their religion? So based on that books also written sources. And biographies also. Some kings having the habit to write their life story in a diary. So that we call as a biographies. Okay, so that we call as a biographies. And autobiographies, that we call as autobiographies. But biographies means what? Suppose my lifestyle, my life style, or my life information written by some other person, so that we call as a biography. Autobiography means what? My life information, I am writing only. Okay, so that we call as a autobiographies. And paintings also. So these all are what? These all are belongs to the written sources. We can gather information about the food items, attire, conventions and rules of conduct of the people's festivals, and about people's life, etc. From these sources. Sources of this type are called written sources of history. Okay, so when we are reading any historical documents or any historical books or biographies, so we can understand which type of festivals they were celebrated, which type of style they were followed. So these all things we can understand. See here they are giving the picture to you, so that is the written sources. So documents, what are the documents having about one particular king or king's court, so that are also written sources. Shakavalis, also that means regarding to suppose ministries. Now we have the agriculture minister, financial minister, tourist ministers. So at like in that period also ministers is there. So for one shaka means one department, suppose agriculture department. So in that agriculture department, what we did for development of agriculture. Okay, so how much profit we got, how to develop agriculture, so that all information they wrote in that particular document. So about one particular department, they have the book that we call as a shakavali. Okay, these are judicial vedas, that means orders given by the kings, biographies of kings. Okay, some foreign travelers, they came to India and what they observed in India, so that all information they wrote in a books, so that we call as a travelers of foreign travels. Okay, thavarikas. So these all are what written sources. Okay, see here I'm showing the coins to you now. So these coins are a coin of the Pishwa period. So when Pishwa's period is there, Pishwa Maharaj period is there. Okay, so that time they use this type of coin. Okay, so which language this is a Persian and Arabic language. So that means what Pishwa's period they use the Arabic and Persian language. And see here, this is the coin of Hyder Ali. So when Hyder Ali was rule our country, so that time on that coins he printed the Shiva Parvati pictures, Lord Shiva and Parvati. Okay, and another side, this symbol is there. Okay, and this is made with the silver, and these are made with gold. Okay, so these all are material sources. Next one. During this period, travelers from other countries came to India. They have written travelers or accounts of their travels. Some of them are Al Biruni, Ibn Botat, Niccolo Manusi, Babur's biography, Sri Shiva Bharat, or the Sanskrit biography of Shivaji Maharaj, composed by the poet Paramanand, as well as various other biographies of different rulers and their correspondents, help us to understand the policies and administrative system of the rulers and their diplomatic relations with the others. Okay, so here not only this material sources, so many foreigners also. Okay, so in sixth standard we learn also na, in sixth standard history chapter, Yuan Ching, he's one of the both the bhikshu. He came from China and he traveled all over India, and he observed what are the tradition we are following, which type of flowers available, which type of trees are available here. So all the information he wrote on books. Okay, that type of books, who are the foreigners, they came to India and they observed everything and they wrote on a book that we call as a travelers. Okay, of or account of their travels. So based on that books also we can get the information. And some kings, they wrote their stories, own stories, like a Babur biography. Babur is also king. Okay, so in the after second, third, fourth chapters, we will know about the Babur also, who is Babur. Okay, so we can understand that also. So now Babur's biography also belongs to written sources. And here one of the book about Shivaji Maharaj, so that book name Shrishva Bharat. What is the book name? Shrishva Bharat. So that is in which language? Sanskrit language. And this book was wrote by Paramananda. What is that poet name? Paramananda. So he wrote the one book about Shivaji Maharaj in the form of poets. Okay, so what is that book name? Shrishava Bharata. Okay, so here, so these all things are what showing, so how that kings are rule our country, which type of rules they were given on common people, which type of welfare schemes they were given for the people, how they are protected our country. So these all things they are included in that books. So these all are what written sources. Okay, next one. Tavarika or Tharika means the sequence of events. Tavarika or Tharika means what? What are the events happened in past? So that should be written in a sequence manner, one particular manner they were wrote. So that we call as a Tarika. So Tarikas written by Al Biruni, Juddin Bharani, Maulana Ahmad, Yahya bin Ahmad, Mirza Hayyad, Bhimsena, Saxena, etc. are available. So these all people are wrote the Tharikas. That means these all people are, wrote about the historical events in a particular order. So that we call as a Tharik. Okay, it will come in one more question also. Okay, what is meant by Tharik? Okay, they will ask like that. So Tharik means simply it is a sequence of events. So Bakar is a type of chronological that originated in Maharashtra. So Bakar is one of the written sources. So mainly Bakars are in Maharashtra only. It was started in Maharashtra only. Chronicles help in understanding the aspects like the contemporary political happenings, linguistic translation, cultural life, social conditions, etc. Okay, so mainly what information we can get when we are reading the Bakaras, what are the political events happen in Maharashtra state, or what are the linguistic transactions. That means linguistic means languages. Okay, so at that time which type of languages they were used, and from that suppose Sanskrit language were used, but from Sanskrit to how they are translated into Marathi language, or how they are translated into Hindi language. So that information, what are the cultural life, that means festivals, which type of festivals they were celebrate, which type of customs they were followed. So these all things they are written on that books. So that we call as a Bakaras. It was started in Maharashtra. Many of the chronicle is in Marathi were written many years after the events had occurred. As a result, they are seen to rely on hearsays. Some of these chronicle are Mahekavachi Bakar, Sabashat Bakar, Chittasachi Bakar, Baushashebachi Bakar, etc. The works of contemporary Western historians like Robert Arm, MC Springle, and Grand Duff are also important. Okay, so here so many Bakars wrote by the some people. So like Mahekavachi Bakar, Sabachati Bakar, Chitsachi Bakar, Boshadi Bakar. So these all are what Bakars. Bakars means what? Historical events happening in Maharashtra. So that information we get when we are reading this Bakar. Okay, so these all people wrote the Bakars. So these all are what? Historical documents. That too it is written sources only. Okay, got it now. And some Western historians also. Historians means what? Who wrote the history or who are studying about history. So that people we call as a historians. So Western countries, European country people also wrote the history. Okay, some Buckers they also wrote. So that people are Robert Arm, MC Springle, Grand Duff. So these all are the important persons. Okay, next one. Do this, make a collection of pavadas, tribal songs, present them in the cultural programs arranged in your school. So what are the songs you know about previous period, about Shivaji Maharaj, or about independence period, or about Mahatma Gandhi? So what are the songs you know? So that, so you have to collect that songs. You have to in your school they will conduct the cultural events na? Suppose August 15, January 26. So in that time you have to sing that songs. Okay, so last topic in this chapter, so that is the oral sources. Okay, so we understand various aspects of folk life through folk literature, traditionally passed on from generation to generation to generation. Generation to generation. Some examples are voice, folk songs, povadas, voice folk songs, povadas, folk tales, legends, and myths. Okay, so here they are giving the examples also for the folk songs. Okay, oral sources. So what are the oral sources? Voice, folk songs, povadas, folk tales, legends, and myths. Okay, what are the stories about God and goddess? What are the legendary stories? That means about Mahatma Gandhi, about Nehru, about Shivaji Maharaj, about uh, uh, Jhansi Rani. Okay, so these all what legendary stories. So these all are also coming under the oral sources. See here they are given the one chart also. Folk songs, mice, legends, proverbs. Proverbs means already I told you, slogans. When a friend is need, friend is dead, so that type of proverbs also, knowledge is divine. Okay, so these type of life is precious, so these all are proverbs. Pavadas also, it is these all are like as a songs, inspirational songs like that. Okay, so shlokas, uh, songs, traditional songs, so these all are under the oral source. Simply oral source means what? Through the mouth. That means there is no material, there is no written proof. Through the mouth you can understand, so about history, so that we call as a oral sources. Okay, history is written in the help of the three types of sources mentioned above. So history we can understand with the help of three type of sources, like material sources, written sources, and oral sources. Even after it has been written down, research on it, it goes on continuously. New sources of information come to light through this research. So uh, uh, when we are taking any research on historical events, so we will get the new information also. So day by day we will get the new type of information also when we are starting the research on historical places. Then history has not been rewritten accordingly. We can see that our history books and those of our parents and grandparents differ to a certain extent. Okay, so we can't rewrite the history. That means what? Independence period was over, so we can't do again independence fight, but we can write what happened in that period. That much, that information we can write. Okay, so uh, called as a or written sources. Okay, so these all are we, when we are reading the historical books, ancient period books or medieval period books, history and today's history books are different. That means how your parents period is different, and your timing is different, or your grandparents timing is different, like that history also different. Suppose your grandparents, when your grandparents are children, they don't have the electricity, they didn't have tvs also, they didn't have mobiles also, but now we have mobiles, tvs, everything. So what is so much difference is there na? So like that in history also we have the so much difference. Okay, next one. See here, do you know the Povada of Thanaji? Okay, the Povada of Thanaji given below is an extract from a Povada composed by Tulsidas Shahir. Okay, here they are given one Povada na. So this Povada is written by the who? Tulsidas. He portrayed the Kondana company in it. The Povada contains beautiful character sketches of Tanaji, Shalmarama, Shivaji Maharaj, Veeramata, Jijabai, etc. So in this poem, what he wrote, Tulasidas wrote about the greatness of Tanaji, greatness of Shivaji Maharaj, and greatness of Veeramata, Jijabai. Okay, so that is the meaning. I'll try because I don't know Hindi and Marathi. So just I'll try. Okay. So Mama bolaye to lagala एशी वर्षीच्या महात्तरा लगीन राहिले raya वाचे तो majala sangavi. So I don't know this meaning also. So just you have to read and you understand. Okay. Next one is evaluating the sources of history. So how we can understand the sources of history? It is necessary to take certain precautions before using these sources of history. We have to examine their authenticity and see which are genuine and which are fake. Their quality can be determined with the help of internal standards. We also have to study the integrity of the writers, their personal interests, the period in which they live, and the political pressures on them. It is also important to see whether they are really on a hearsay or given eyewitness account. Okay, so simply what? Suppose you are writing any history, so you have to write everything. Suppose you are writing about the Akbar. Okay, you are writing about Akbar, so that is the historical book you are writing. So what are the good things having Akbar? What are the bad things having Akbar? Which wars he won, which wars he failed? Okay, he lost. So that information, that means positive information you have to write, negative information also you have to write. So that we call as a true historical book. Otherwise, when you are writing only good things about Akbar, so it is not a history. Why? You like Akbar, so that's why you wrote only good things. But some other person, they don't like the Akbar, so they can write the bad things only. So that is not a history. So what are the good things, what are the bad things happened in that particular period, or about that particular person? So we have to write everything. So that we call as a authentic history. Authentic means what? True history. True history.
We need to consider the exaggeration, metaphors, and other literacy devices they use. Their information has to be verified with the help of other contemporary sources. The information may be one sided, contradictory, or exaggerated. It has to be seen in a proper perspective. The sources have to be subjected to a critical analysis. The author's impartiality and neutrality are very important in writing of history. Okay, so when you are writing the history, so you have to show the impartiality or neutrality. That means if you are liking that person or if you are hating that person, you have to write good things and bad things about that particular period. But when you are writing the history, um, you have to gather the more information about that particular person or that particular information. Suppose I want to write about Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, so for that purpose, first I went to what are the forts having, what are the buildings having about Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, so I'll see what are the museums having. I will went that place. I will observe everything, and I will read the books also. What are the books available about Shivaji Maharaj? So I'll read that books also. Then I can understand everything about Shivaji Maharaj. Then I'll start writing about history about Shivaji Maharaj. So that type of history we call as the authentic history. So that is the true history. Okay, okay, students. So this is the first chapter of history. Okay, sources of history, 7th standard. Okay, I hope you understand. You think it is a useful to you. So like, subscribe, and share. Okay, thank you. And the next, I will start with the next chapter. Thank you, students.